All right.
All right.
So today we're going to be talking about The Last of Us Part 2. This is the second game that's supposed to be coming out soon. Did a little thing before where you reacted to the beginning, like first 15 minutes where you saw his daughter die. We didn't do the full game. We might in the future, but you saw that. So you
Was that one?
That was one.
And
yeah.
we saw two already.
We saw a little bit of gameplay of two, which looked cool.
Wasn't out yet?
That wasn't out. No.
That was just gameplay?
That was just a little gameplay they released.
So that never came out yet?
The game didn't come out yet, no.
Oh, okay.
They delayed the game a bunch of times. It was supposed to come out like a year ago, and it was supposed to come out this time in May, and then they delayed it indefinitely, which means that they don't know when it's going to release, but it's delayed. We got a bunch of leaks yesterday by some angry employee at Naughty Dog, the people that make Uncharted and The Last of Us.
Supposedly? Was that true story?
It's an actual employee, yeah. An actual employee leaked out a bunch of videos of the ending.
Why would he leak it out?
Well, that's what we're going to get into. It seems like there's a lot of stuff going on inside the studio. People not being treated fairly, and also a lot of pressure put onto people to, get the work out really fast. That's what we like to call crunch in the video game business. It's not like it's unnatural to be, crunches when making a video game. That's kind of like the culture. Well, they were withholding paychecks and
well, they probably because they
like
promised everyone it was going to be out. They knew it wasn't going to be ready, so they pressured everyone to work harder for the same amount of pay, and then people get pissed off. Yeah, but don't they have sign anything that says they can't leak anything?
Yeah, that's what they call NDA.
Yeah, I mean that's what you sign before you work there. So the guy, if they know who it really is, he probably could get in trouble. He's definitely
going to get in trouble.
You would think.
Usually when someone leaves the studio, they have to sign what's called an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, saying that you can't say anything about what's going on in the project.
Well, not before you leave. It should be when you start working.
It is when you start working, but you also have to sign it when you leave, I'm pretty sure. Because if you leave, then that gives you opportunity to say stuff.
Because you're not working there.
Because you're not working there anymore. You probably have something maybe negative to say.
He quit?
That guy didn't quit. Some other people did. There's some other people that had the same bad experience, but they just didn't leak the game. This guy leaked the game. He was still working on it. So that's what's kind of interesting about it.
So they're making a big deal about it, basically?
Yeah. This has never happened before. People never leaked a whole video game before. Games like The Last of Us, like when we first saw it, it was like a movie. So leaking the whole narrative, the plot, all of that is really big. Because you're supposed to be experiencing it through hours and hours of playing the game itself. So when it just is all laid out before you, it's a lot easier to be kind of,
What is this, lesbians?
upset. Yeah, they're also lesbians. So that's another thing we can talk about. So that guy that you just saw, I think his name is Neil, he's really pushing SJW, far left, I guess, ideas. So there's a lot of...
What is SJW?
As social justice warrior, like these guys, they really want to push... Which, it's not terribly negative, but they want to push, lesbians, like Ellie, who you play as the first game, you find out that she's a lesbian in the game. And one of the main characters... How did you find that out? They had like a DLC that you bought, and you saw her kiss another girl, which you're like, whoa, I didn't know that. But there's more characters in this game, not just her. So another main character in this game that you don't know yet, which was in the leaks, is people say a trans woman, and there's a lot of stuff going on there, which it's kind of abundant. Like you can see, like they're pushing it.
Right. Yeah.
Which is the issue. I guess most people don't have like if they want to do that, that's their choice. But I think a lot of people are upset because they're pushing that. Some of the tweets from Naughty Dog developers kind of give us an insight of what's going on the inside. So I'm just going to read this. This is from a few months ago in March. This guy named Jonathan Cooper, he says, "When I left Naughty Dog late last year, they threatened to withhold my final paycheck until I signed an additional paperwork stating I wouldn't share their production practices. They finally relented when I assured them that was most likely illegal." So he tried to leave. They wanted him to sign something saying, hey, you can't say what's going on here because it's obvious that it's kind of negative right now, what's going on with the studio. So they're afraid that this guy's going to leak it. He tried to...
What do you mean, after everything was already leaked?
This is before all the leaking. This is just the bad environment that they're working in, that this stuff came out just a few months before this leak. But they were trying to force him to sign paperwork saying that you can't say anything what's going on. So he said, I'm not going to do that. So they're like, okay, fine, because most likely it's illegal. You can't do that. He said the truth is that he doesn't have an awful crunch tale. The story animators, as we were known, were averaging 46 hours a week when I left, and I personally never went over 55. The story team is super organized, and we reacted to whatever was thrown at us. That's not to say others weren't suffering. For the demo that was shown last September, which we watched, remember that 15-minute thing that we saw? I kind of seeing it on the screen right now. He's saying that demo, the guys who made that, the gameplay animators who did that were crunched more than I've ever seen and required weeks of recovery afterwards. So afterwards they did that, they were so overly worked.
Yeah, but you can only do so much.
Yeah.
You can't tell somebody, hurry up, and you can only, you know what I'm saying?
He says one good friend of mine was hospitalized.
What?
At that time due to overwork. He still had over half a year to go, and there have been others since. So the work culture of like, hey, you get this done.
Well, then you quit. You get another
and
job.
A lot of people have quit.
Yeah.
70%. I think I've read 70% of the actual workflow, like the normal people who win, have actually resigned. They've quit. They've left. So there's a lot of more new people, like the senior guys who made Uncharted 4, and the other Uncharted games.
It's the same Naughty Dog
It's
thing.
the same guys.
Maybe they can't find enough people. That's what kind of job you should get into then.
Well,
they don't find enough people. That's why they're making everyone work more hours.
He continues on.
Why not just hire more people?
He continues on. The reason I left is because I only want to work with the best. There is no longer Naughty Dog. Their reputation for crunch within LA is so bad. It was near impossible to hire a seasoned contract game animators to close out the project. As such, we loaded up on the film animators. So they couldn't even get normal game animators because those people heard what was going on in this studio. So
then the guy who's running the business or the CEO or whoever they hired is not doing his job.
No, he's not.
You could get people to work more, and you could only do so much, or somebody's pressuring him. But whoever is pressuring whoever, it's not working out for them, obviously. So they're not running the business correctly, you would assume.
No, they're not.
No.
You shouldn't be suffering the workers.
Well, you can only get what you can get done. You can't. It is the way it is. No matter what you're doing, you'd have to pay them more. You want me to work more and pay me more money?
That's another issue. There's rumors that from other developers that they withhold their paychecks, which is another rumor of why this guy leaked out the gameplay for The Last of Us 2 was because supposedly he maybe worked overtime and they were withholding his paycheck. Yeah. And he got so upset because of what's going on already.
A lot of these guys are on salary, which means you get paid a certain amount a year and you work. But usually salary just means you work 7 hours. You could work up to 7 or 8 hours more a week, not unlimited.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's how it is. These businesses.
It is already used. The culture is already a crunch culture, so people are already hammering on. But
well, that's because they tell you it's going to be done and they don't know.
Yeah.
To get you all excited, they set themselves up for a fall. They want to tell you it's going to be out, so everyone gets excited, and then if they can't make the deadline, they're going to just
the other guys have to
blame everyone else. Yeah, well, that's life, kind of in a way. It's could you work for those people? Do you have another job? Oh, it depends where you get paid. That's the bottom line.
And if you're not getting paid, then if
you're not getting paid enough to work that many hours, then you're not going to want to do it anymore.
So this whole leak that came out yesterday, which like we said, leaked a bunch of story information. Not only did a lot of people see the leak, but a lot of people are now actually disappointed from the leak, from the details. Of course, we're not going to spoil anything in this video, but a lot of people have read the plot, what happens. Out of their well-known characters.
But did the guy put it in a sequence where he made it look stupid too to get the guy back?
Well, first there was an initial leak.
What I mean?
There was an initial leak that came out months ago that people saw, but people didn't know to believe it. There was no gameplay behind it. Yeah. But now after seeing the new gameplay videos that came out, that plot actually lines up with what they've seen. So now it's like, oh wait, that plot it sounded stupid, like someone made it up, is actually reliable and truthful.
So they let the plot out first.
Months ago, some guy probably worked there wanted to do the same thing.
And then when they actually saw it, they were affirmed.
Yesterday.
That it was true.
That was true. Yeah.
Smoking pot too?
Well, that's the game we weren't going to cover this game too much anyway. We didn't really agree too much with the direction they were going. But a question I got to ask is, do you think it was right for this guy to leak the game out, even he wasn't getting paid or however they were treating him?
That's the risk you take. That's the risk you take. If you want to treat people a certain way, you reap what you sow.
Yeah, I guess
You
it was
want
a
to
matter
treat
of
people a
time.
certain way, then eventually you're gonna get back what you're throwing out. It's throw crap out. Whatever's flying in the air is gonna come back and stick to you. That's just the way it is. You just happen to let it out now. You know what I mean?
Well, you think it would be a different story, right?
You'd let it out
It wouldn't
a
be
long
by
time.
some unpaid worker. Why is that going around if this is intentional? You know what I mean?
Oh, why wouldn't they just say it leaked?
Yeah, you wouldn't hear rumors that it's because of some unpaid worker,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
Well, you'll find out. The truth will come out soon. Once
Truth
it comes
will come out, yeah.
Once it comes out, then everybody will say everything that they have to say.
All right.
All right.
If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you go down, leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.